McEuen. That is awesome. How are you doing today?
Do you have this book?
I don't have this book, but I should have this book.
Yes, you should.
This is incredible. So tell me what it is.
This is a book about Will the Circle Be Unbroken? The album?
The album.
It's about the making of a landmark album.
That's the right reason it's titled Will the Circle Be Unbroken? The Making of a Landmark Album.
Yeah.
It's pretty ingenious title. Jared, did you see this?
That's awesome.
He's got a book here. This is one of the most quintessential albums of all time for anybody into Americana, acoustic music, country, folk, bluegrass, all the stuff. And
I know that.
You know that.
Be unbroken by and by, Lord, by and by. There's a better home awaiting in the sky, Lord, in the sky.
But you're right. It is, because it is. This is the album that
Yeah, we're allowed to say it.
we're allowed to say it, because it is the album that everybody should be issued. If you're into this kind of music, you need to have this album.
I agree.
So
And it's available.
it is available.
On
And
Amazon.
That's one of the cool things about it is it's still being discovered by new young players. Like I'll have students that just say, "Have you heard of this album?" Like, yeah, I think everyone has.
Students?
Yeah, so some of our mandolin students. So it's,
Really?
Yes, it's one of the, well, a lot of them are discovering this genre of music and discovering it one piece at a time, and then it leads them down that trail to Will the Circle Be Unbroken? And that's the cool thing. It's been 50 years. Is that true?
50 years. It's like the dark side of the banjo.
Dark Side of the Moon version of. Yeah.
The dark side of the moon of bluegrass.
it had everybody on it.
Didn't have everybody.
It had everybody that was important.
Had everybody
you
I
and
never-
everybody that was important.
Had everybody I'd ever heard of.
So, for those that don't know, and again, I'm telling you, you helped put together this album, and I didn't realize this until I had done some reading recently that this was a project of you and your brother. Is that
Yeah.
correct?
It wouldn't have happened without my brother. It wouldn't have happened without Doug Dillard exciting me at 17 years old to play the banjo. So I would end up getting a band going. And with the band, I got in the Dirt Band, and we made records, and some of them got heard by Earl Scruggs.
And that was awesome too.
Thanks.
And you got Earl to be on the project, and that was kind of like the initial thing that got the ball rolling, and one person led to another. And
It was like there were 15 balls that were rolling.
How do you keep up with that many balls that are
And-
rolling?
quite the juggler.
This picture of me with Earl was like, that was all I wanted.
I love
Got a
that you
lot
were
more,
casual
though.
enough to get the feet up and be. Man, I'd be freaking out if Earl was in the same room with me and playing. So that's awesome, comfortable. Wow.
So these
Very, very
photos
cool.
in the book, those were your brother taking these photos in the studio?
Yeah, my brother was the manager, the record producer, the photographer, and
Speaking of juggling,
something else, I'm sure, and
Wrangler of all inside the studio.
and in charge of artwork.
Yeah.
So yeah,
And that is a classic cover. Everybody knows that cover. Like I said, what a cool album. I remember when I was young, my dad introduced me to this. This is a double fold album. You flipped it open and you listen to the music. This is back in the old days. This is where we all reminisce about album covers and jackets and liner notes and all that kind of stuff. But you would listen to the music, and as you're doing it, you get to read all the stuff that's going on inside the project and all that. And I do miss that stuff. So this is awesome for those.
This is
that
like a
have that.
giant liner note.
It's a big giant liner notes. That's awesome. So this is like taking it to the next level of the liner notes. Has all the stories. Has a lot of the photos that you had that were in the album, except tiny. Now you got full size, and probably some more photos that weren't even in the album, I would assume.
Pictures of the early Dirt Band in the 1960s, early 70s.
really.
Like pictures that have not been seen in a long time, and some that have never been seen.
This is I like this. You just passed one. I mean, look at all that hair right there. Look at that. That's Beatles style hair going on right there. That's all of it.
Well, it was 1966. We were
So-
trying to get signed to Capitol Records. They turned us down.
So how did the idea of writing a book come about with you? Like, is this, yeah, you've written before, right? You have a book of your own story and your personal life. What brought up the Will the Circle Be Unbroken project as a book?
50 years.
Of telling stories?
Ken Burns was doing his special, country music.
Yeah,
Yep.
great.
And I did those interviews 4 or 5 years ago, maybe 5. They worked 8 years on that. And knowing that was coming, my brother gave me the photographs of the early Dirt Band and stuff. He said, "Here, they're yours." Anyway, that was nice of you, Bill. And I started putting together a video show that I would do on the road to show people what happened at the sessions. And these pictures are in the video show.
Sure.
Only on the screen, they're
A lot bigger.
They're bigger. They're actually this big. No, they're big.
As big as the screen.
And it's just something to do.
Sure.
Yeah. And to get these stories down on somewhere where other people can experience it, and they're, if they're not able to come out and see your presentation, they can have the book at home and read it and get to know a little bit more about what went into building this legacy or legendary project.
I've had people tell me this is like a documentary without the film. It's like a script for a documentary.
I like it.
Because every photo has a story behind it.
Well, I'm going to tell you, I know for a fact that I'm going to be in it because I want to have this book because I grew up with this album. This is stuff that I wanted to have all the time. I listened to it, read
That
it.
is where I can go.
That's
right
where
over
you
there.
go. You found the
We
spot.
found a spot to hang it.
There you go. We're going to have it right there. And no, I'm getting a copy for myself for sure. No, I'm looking forward to
nightstand.
reading this one because, like I said, for me, this was a legendary album. I mean, it's legendary just to be able to sit here and talk to you, and it's been fun getting to chat. But I love the idea of hearing the story of an album that influenced me and probably, I know Jeremy, I say
entire
me,
band,
but everybody. But almost anybody who has been into acoustic music at some point has heard this album or been part of it, and to kind of get through the stories, I think that's priceless. I'm glad you brought it through.
You know what Groove Push is?
I don't.
You will if you read this book.
It's an educational.
Because I go into the explanation of the mastering of the album and talking about the difficulties of putting all that music on a disc.
Yeah. When you were putting this project together, you and your brother, did you have any idea of what it would become, or like I'm sure you hoped it would be a success, but did you have any kind of inkling of what it was going to become? Sometime in the studio, did it
I
occur to
knew
you?
that getting Earl and Doc together was important. I knew that recording with Maybelle Carter at different ages was important. I knew that getting Roy Acuff was important. We didn't think it was going to be important to this many people for this long.
Yeah.
We hoped,
Of course.
sure, we hoped, but no. I could not say, this is the Dirt Band, Nitty Gritty Dirt Band's most successful album. Now, some people say, why did you leave the group? After 50 years, I left. I could never get them to do more than one song from this album.
So is it safe to say that this was your favorite album of all the ones you did?
No,
No?
it is one of the favorites. It's beyond an album that we did.
Yes.
It's an album that all the people on the left, Maybelle, Roy, Acuff, and all those people did with us.
Yes.
You know?
That makes sense.
It's, anyway.
That makes perfect sense. I like I said, I can't wait to read it. I think it's going to be a really cool project.
I'm so happy that you took the time to write all this out and make it so someone like us can almost, I get what is the word? Be a fly on the wall, I guess.
Yeah.
Well,
Live vicariously.
live vicariously through
heard
through your
that.
writing here.
I heard that a bunch from emails.
That's awesome. Well, we're going to try to get some in here as well.
Okay,
And,
I'm going to
thank
try
you so
and
much.
sell
Thanks
it
for
to
sharing with me.
I'm going to try and sell it next door.
You might
now.
want to try the gas station too. They might have a few. There's probably a bunch of people that are,
I think while we got him here, though, we got to at least pick a couple tunes.
That'd be
Have
good.
you pick a couple, and then we'll play one with you. Be
Sounds like a
awesome.
plan. We'll do that.
Hey, when we were recording the Circle album, Roy Acuff hadn't said he was going to do it for sure. Not absolutely for sure. he was testing us, I think. He came in that last day, and he didn't look very happy. He goes, "What kind of music you boys been recording here?" And we took him in the control room and played him 4 songs. And he said, Why, hell, that ain't nothing but country music. Let's go make some more. I was glad my brother saved him for the last day, because on that last day we did. I was standing by my window on a cold and cloudy day when I saw that hearse come rolling for to take my mother away. Undertaker, undertaker, would you please drive slow for that body that you're carrying? I hate to see her go. Will the circle be unbroken by and by, Lord, by and by? There's a better home awaiting in the sky, Lord, in the sky. Somebody get it.
Hey, we really appreciate you guys watching that video. It was my favorite one we've made so far. We've done hundreds of videos, and that was the best one.
It was.
And the next one's going to be even better. If you'd like to see that, be sure you subscribe to this channel. And also, the more you comment and interact below, the more the YouTube algorithms pick it up and start pushing it out to other people, like-minded people.
Algorithms?
Algorithms, they're everywhere. They permeate the internet, and YouTube's got one. And it watches our videos, and it sees how much you comment, and then it pushes us to other people like you. And we want everyone to experience the Acoustic Shoppe world, where we talk about instruments, we do reviews, we got some fun videos coming up. We thank you guys so much for being a part of it, and we'll see you in the next video.